little louder than I intended. Please stand. Welcome to Downtown Rotary. I'm Mark DeGroff, your president. Thank you all for coming out today. I'd like to introduce a couple of gentlemen. Jerry Boaz is our chaplain. He works full-time at the Children's Palace, and he wanted all of you to know that he was the one that opened this building and set everything up today. Having a good day. And I'd also like to introduce Hal Smith. He's president of the Topeka Rescue Missions Board and pastor of a church that is planted here and is feeding a lot of people in the neighborhood and doing some fun things. So Hal will officially welcome you today. Hal?
Thank you. I can tell that most of you have heard me preach before because you're sitting on the back row as far away as you can. So I can tell where you sit in church also. Welcome. Give you a little history here. And before I start, the restrooms are out that door, up the stairs and to the right. And that's my most information that you might want to know. And we're glad to host this. When they ask me, I go, "You guys meet in churches?" And then I found out you got ran out. Oh, I mean you weren't able to book where you normally book. And but I have opened this, and I will tell you now, anytime you want to come over here and have your meetings, this place is open to you. I am president of the board, but I'm also a pastor that meets in this building. This church was donated to the rescue mission a couple of years ago, about 2.5 years ago. And the people that donated this church was the Christian church, Oakland Christian Church, and they wanted to continue ministry here. And so they were feeding, had a feeding program. They wanted us to, if we would, to continue that. And we started feeding people over in this area with the help of the rescue mission and the help of harvesters. And we feed about 100 people every week coming through just to eat. They come through the doors back here, and they're more the poor people, but they come from all over our city. They're not just over here in this area. Then we are over another program that we went in a few weeks ago to Ripley Park and the Timberley apartments, and we started feeding over there with the help of TRM, and we do that on a weekly basis, Sunday afternoons, and we're feeding between 100 and 200 people and a lot of children. And Jerry Boaz is one of the helpers that does that. He tells me, quit asking me to do stuff. And he's my right-hand guy. And I can go to him. And we're both, should be retired. When they call me senior pastor here, they're not kidding. Because I am senior pastor. And love it and do it. And we're here to serve the community as you are. And we want to welcome you here.
Thanks, Hal. So I hope that we got all your blood pumping. We've held you standing a little longer than normal. We're going to do the quick Pledge of Allegiance here, and then welcome to be seated. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. And now Val is going to do our Rotary Minute and guest introductions.
Thank you. All right, so Rotary Minute. This might take just like a minute and 15 or so, but anyway, so I've been working today on women's suffrage. You know, we're coming upon the 100th anniversary here pretty soon in 2019. So 2019 marks the 100th anniversary, and in my time of planning all the content initiatives at KTWU, I decided the Rotary Minute could be worth dedicating to women in Rotary. So just 30, well, we're at the 100th anniversary, but just 30 years ago, the bylaws of Rotary International stated that Rotary Club membership was for males only. In 1978, the Rotary Club of Duarte, California invited 3 women to become members. The Rotary International Board withdrew the charter for that club in violation of the RI Constitution. The club sued Rotary International, claiming a violation of state civil rights law, which prevents discrimination of any form in business establishments or public accommodations. The appeals court and the California Supreme Court supported the Duarte position that Rotary could not remove the club's charter merely for inducting women into the club. The United States Supreme Court upheld the California court, indicating that Rotary clubs do have a business purpose and are in some ways public-type organizations. This action in 1987 allowed women to become Rotarians in any jurisdiction having similar public accommodation statutes. And the Rotary International constitutional change was made at the 1989 Council on Legislation with the vote to eliminate the male-only provision for all of Rotary. So, as I understand, the first woman to be a Rotarian here is Joan Wagner. I don't know if she's here with us today. As she joined Rotary in 1987, we can all be very proud of this, as we all know that Joan is definitely the perfect representation of service above self. So, thank you very much. And we have one guest today. This is a guest of Deanna Ross, and this is Inga Martinson from Washington University. She's a nurse practitioner student, resident nurse.
Hi, Inga.
Welcome, Inga. And thank you all very much.
I have a guest.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, we have a guest. Oh, okay. All right, great. So we have a guest here.
My guest is my neighbor and very good friend, Monique Pittman-Louie. She's very active in the community. We've known each other forever, and she is in the process today of filling out her application.
Welcome, Monique. Thank you all.
Okay, I have 2 guests.
Oh, you have 2 guests, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
First of all, Tim O'Shea. Tim is the father of our speaker today, Gabriel O'Shea. He is also my oldest and best friend in the world. I don't remember a time in my life that I didn't know Tim, and our parents have lived next door to each other in Oskaloosa, Kansas since the late 1950s or early 1960s, and are all still alive and still live next door to each other in their 80s and 90s. So,
All right, are there any other guests?
Next to me, Kristen O'Shea, wife of our speaker, and Kristen is my cousin as well as his wife. There you go.
Thank you, Val. Our September featured charity for the company is the Anti-Human Trafficking Project. The typical Rotary clubs are working together to purchase items and put together fresh start kits for victims of human trafficking. We're also partnering with STARS for Stop Trafficking and Reject Slavery. It's a program of the Topeka Center for Peace and Justice. And we're joining the campaign to demand an end to trafficking, exploitation, and abuse by becoming a Peace Builder Club in 2018 and 19. We do have a few announcements, and if Jeremy and Lee would start on their way up, we'll go over just a couple things while they're on their way up. Today is National Peanut Day, and so September 13th is National Peanut Day. It is also National Kids Take Over the Kitchen Day. So to me, those two seem to go together. So if you haven't had your peanut butter sandwich lately, you might expect one tonight. And if you are used to pancakes for Mother's Day or Father's Day, or breakfast in bed, that could go well with peanut butter as well. So for jokes, we have 2 peanuts are walking down the road. One was assaulted. And I think you'll like this better. What kind of socks do you need to plant peanuts? Garden hose. So next, I'll welcome these 2 guys on that note to chat about the Scots Movement Interact Club and all the exciting things that are going on over there.
Hey guys, just real quick, Highland Park, over at Highland Park, our Scots Movement Interact, they're holding a garage sale tentatively for September 29th. We're holding a garage sale with the Scott Movement kids. You can help by combing your house with anything from your garage. Now listen, baby grands are a challenge, okay? So I'm happy to take any of the donations that you have for the kids to be able to sell so they can interact with adults. So we'll be collecting those over the next couple of weeks, so feel free to reach out to me, tap me on the shoulder, and I'm here to help. And then Lee had a brief announcement as well.
But also on the garage sale, Angel Zimmerman has generously donated space at their office, so we've got lots of room to store stuff. If you've got things we can pick up and help get moved over there, we want to make this a big success for the Interact Club. You should have gotten an email this week. Linda got the email out about the mentoring program. Just had a smattering response to that so far, but we need to get your responses back about mentoring so that we can get that program kicked off and moving forward as quickly as possible this year. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. To wrap up announcements, we do have one free spot left in the Rotary Leadership Institute. I know that's this weekend, and typically that's $55, I think, so it's not too steep an entry fee if you don't get into that one last spot, but we've got 2 folks that are going, so 2 out of the 3 spots are taken, and there's 1 spot left. We also have the Water Festival coming up September 20th or next week. We need 1 person to show up about 9 o'clock and pick up the badges and be there till about 1:30, and this would be a supervisory position, so bring your shovel with you and kind of lean on the shovel. That's your job, in addition to handing badges out to the volunteers. And then also please, like Lee said, respond to that mentoring request if you're able. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Yana Ross, who will introduce our speaker today. Yana?
Thank you. My name is Yana Ross, and I'm here. It's my honor to introduce Gabriel O'Shea today to you as our speaker. And I personally met Gabe and his wife playing volleyball through Forge, and while I've been a part of Forge for a year. So it was a fun experience, and we really bonded together. So I get a privilege to introduce him today. But Gabriel O'Shea became Executive Director of Forge in May 2016. And since taking over as Executive Director, Forge has seen a 125% increase in membership. Rebranded the organization with a focus on attraction and retention of 18 to 40-year-olds, while developing the next generation of leaders, increase the diversity within the organization. Gabe is a graduate of Washburn University School of Business, and he loves cheering on K-State athletics. And he has mentioned his wife, Kristen, is here. They have a 7-year-old lab. And the fun part about Gabe is that he is afraid to be attacked by a shark. So we're glad that he's in Topeka. But here you go. I'm honored to introduce you, Gabe O'Shea.
Thank you very much. So I'm actually going to take the opportunity to go up here because I'm not worthy to be a pastor, but I saw that they said if you could, if you wanted to come up to the actually be on here, so this is going to be a little bit better. So no, it's an honor to be here today. So when I accepted this speaking engagement, I didn't know yet that this would be my last speaking engagement at Ford. So my last day actually is tomorrow. So I'm dubbing this my farewell speech. So yeah. So I guess they said I was too old, so I had to move on. But no, I'm actually had another opportunity, still be in the area. But just so today, I'd just like to just kind of touch base on what is Forge. Some of you may not know what Forge is, so I'm just going to kind of give you a little history of what we've done in the past, what we're all about, and then talk about some current things we're working on, then also kind of the vision for the future, which could change. We'll have a new leader in place here very shortly and stuff. So starting off, Forge, our mission is simple. It is to attract and retain young talents to the greater Topeka area. Sounds simple, right? So yeah, so if you look at all the data, we haven't grown our population in quite a while, so we're pretty much flatlined. So this is something that's It's an adaptive challenge, we like to say. Kansas Leadership Center likes to say that. It's something that is, there's a lot of reasons for it, but there's not very many solutions for it. And so it's something where I got hired on, the first thing they really wanted to do was really to transform this organization to the next level. And that started off with, maybe you know, but it used to be called Fast Forward. So our organization is Fast Forward. We're the same organization, but one of the things is when our logo is a VCR and our members don't know what a VCR is, I think it's time to do a rebrand. So we've done time to freshen up our brand, and so that's one of the first things we did. We did a lot of studies on where we're going to go as the future, and we decided on Forge. The reason for Forge is we're forging ahead. It's kind of like we like that's an action word. It's something that is bold, it's strong, something unique. I think Topeka is really unique. And then our logo is a buffalo, and the reason why we chose a buffalo is because together, the buffalo is the largest mammal in North America, and together, when they're together, they're a strong force. And that's something we see in Topeka, when we come together, we can be a very strong force moving together. So that's a little bit about the branding thing, but it's been a very, very exciting time. So looking back, we had 981 members when I took over. So we were just shy of 1,000, and today, as I sit here, we're at 2,135 members. So as a thanks, it's 125% increase, and I can't take all the credit for it. I know it really is goes back to our members. It's a team. To do anything, to be successful, you have to have really smart people and really successful people around you, and that's what I did from day one. Actually, the first day I had a meeting with my boss, Matt Pavarnik, and after the meeting, we talked, kind of outlined some long-term visions and goals. And I went back to my office and I sat there, and I was like, "Wow, this is a lot. This is going to be very tough." And so the first thing I did, and I try to do every day since then, was surround myself with people who are smarter than me, more successful than me, and that are ambitious. And I've done that, and I'm very, very proud of the people I've had to work with every single day, from day one to present day. So it's been really cool. Some of the few things we can kind of go over. I'm just curious, how many people here have heard of Forge before? Do we know? Just so I know kind of who I'm talking to, my audience. Okay, quite a few of you, so that's great. I'm glad we got our brains work, so we always got ways to go, but I'm glad to see that. One of our first things, my first year that I'm really proud of, was called Top City Interns. So it goes back to our mission. Our mission is to attract and retain young talents. One of our biggest opportunities is to get college students to move here when they graduate. So we actually did a kind of a focus poll. So I went to universities and asked some of the students, and what are their view of Topeka? And I had assumptions going into it that they're going to be negative, but they weren't. They didn't even know about Topeka. They didn't even speak about Topeka. So I think that was even worse than being negative, is they weren't even brought up at college campuses in the career centers when they were looking to graduate, where they moved to. Topeka wasn't even a talking point, good or bad. As some people say, any media is good media, right? It's good or bad, but when you don't talk about it, so we had to start those conversations. And one of the first things we did was start this program where we attracted interns, and we really, the goal was just to showcase what it's like to live, work, and play in Topeka. And the end goal was to retain them when they graduate. So we told all the companies, first year we had 24 companies participate. We had 194 interns. And we told them, hey, let us come together and we'll sell them on Topeka, and then you can sell them on your own company. And that was something where we had a lot of buy-in, because they were struggling. They were struggling retaining their interns. They were struggling finding talent, and that's one of the biggest things here in America today. I do a lot of research on that nationwide, and companies kind of, in the old days, 20, 30 years ago, when you graduated college, you went wherever the job was. If that was my father-in-law, they went to Ponca City. He graduated from Kansas State University, and he got a job with ConocoPhillips. So that's where they moved to. Nowadays, some people, they are saying, I'm going to go to a city that I want to live in, and then I'll find a job. So it's a shift in thinking. It's a shift of and we need to be at the forefront of that. And so you really have to sell your community before you can sell, the company can sell them to come work for them. So they need to have buy-in on coming to Topeka, living here. And that's what our program did. So we do a lot of things. First year we had Cody Foster speak to them, Mark Ruel. We had a volunteer event with harvesters. It's really just to show the companies of what makes Topeka unique and what makes Topeka great. And they had a great experience, and right now we're actually tracking the data. So we're tracking and seeing how many offers the companies make to the interns and how many accept, because that'll be our baseline. Because from then, we're looking to try to grow that, and every year we ask for feedback. So we ask for what did you like about your experience in Topeka, what didn't you like about it, and I can just share a few of the things we heard is, it's hard, they said, to meet other young people in Topeka. They said that they really were thankful for this program because they got an opportunity to be around other young people, but on their own, starting out their first month, they were just they didn't really have many people outside of work. Another thing was really living areas. So apartments and places that young professionals really want to move to is lacking in Topeka. And that's something that I know all these things we are addressing as we speak. It always takes time, it takes money, it takes investment. Just look, Mike Wilson, he's putting in a apartment building first in Kansas that's going to be wonderful. Jim Klossman's putting in apartments at Wheatfield Village. So there's really a lot of exciting things going on through that. So that's just one of the first year highlights that we did. Really another big thing we started really, I think, end of year one is we say as an organization Forge, we need to be risky. We need to take stands and really tell the community what we want. And so one of the things we did is we looked at what is Topeka lacking. Well, one of the things is, even as people live here, is places to live, fun things to do. An opportunity came about where there is a development called Wheatfield Village that was looking at potentially happening here, and there were some hang-ups on incentives and stuff, and the developers were saying, if they don't have the right return on investment, or they don't think that it's going to be profitable, they're not going to do it, which any person would, business, woman, or man. And so we, as an organization, we actually went and advocated, saying, I know that we may have to give some more incentives than we would like to, but we're not at the point where we have developers knocking at our doors wanting to build in Topeka. We need to kind of really attract them, and this is a good opportunity, and I'm really proud as an organization, we actually really advocated and we really helped move that forward, that project, which is now, as you drive by 29th and Fairlawn, it's starting to take shape. The ground's all leveled out, and that's going to be, it's going to be a hotel, it's going to be apartments, it's going to be a dine-in movie theater, Johnny's Tavern's coming in there, there's going to be, I think, PT's Coffee. It's going to be a very exciting thing, kind of they're a mini Legends almost, a place. Very exciting. One of the biggest pushbacks was traffic around it. As you know, 29th and Fairlawn is the busiest intersection, has the most wrecks in Topeka. But you got to look at traffic. I mean, do we want to grow as a city? If we want more people here, that's going to be something we have to be willing to live with and everything. So that was a very exciting thing. Some other things moving forward is another thing is voter registration. So we really wanted to look at trying to increase voter registration. Young people, it was horrific nationwide, the stats on how many people are registered to vote and how many people actually vote. So we took it upon ourselves as our community to let's try to get the word out there. So we had our initiative was called Forge Your Future. So we went out and just it was this kind of campaign to just let people know, hey, are you registered? If not, this is so easy to do. We had registration at all of our events, so people that came to our events, we got them registered. They weren't registered yet. And really just pushed a get out to vote, and both those numbers, there was a 4% increase in the number of registered voters from 44 and under is what they track for the registration. So we had a 4% increase in Shawnee County, and then also a 5% increase in the day of turnout. So I would love to take credit for that as an organization, but there's probably a lot of factors. But I think if we just make a minor difference for the good of our community, that is something we're really proud of. Present day, I want to make sure, someone told me before to make sure, because I was joking with them that I never that I'm going to be in a church, and I was kind of nervous. And they said, just make sure you give a short sermon. No one likes a long sermon, so I want to make sure I respect everyone's time here. So present day, so Forge, we're a thriving organization. We're very active. We have a lot of things going on. Something we have every week. We have something going on that if you want to get involved, if you want to come out, we have a place because we fill in that gap. Young people, there's not a lot. They say there's not a lot to do, so we make a lot to do. We have a lot of things. One of the things that Jan had talked about was a volleyball rec league where it's just something fun, try and get out and about. But we really have a lot of different arms of our organization, and there's always something that if you're passionate about, if you want to get involved, you're doing that. So today, probably our biggest project that as an organization we're working on is we're helping to create a new city flag. So how many here have you heard about this project? Quite a few, all right. You guys are very involved and informed in the community, so that's good. So we Forge as an organization, we kind of got together and who here knows what our current city flag is? And Karen, you can't raise your hand. Does anyone know what our flag looks like right now? So very few, about 3 or 4. And that's a problem. It's probably
It needs a new one.
it needs a new one. Yes, thank you. Yes, it is not the most attractive flag, you could say. And so that's one of the things where there's actually a TED Talk. So I love watching TED Talks. And there's a TED Talk on, I'm going to butcher what the whole title is long, but it's how city flags are the worst design no one has ever realized. So just Google like city flag TED Talk and watch it. It's about 15 minutes, but he just goes over and shows all these city flags and how horrible they are and how like what would people think, but more importantly is how much a city flag can be empowering to a community. And I think that's something as Topeka we really need. We need community pride. We need our citizens and our people saying, that's my city, that's my flag, I'm proud of it, instead of shying away from it. And so we're very, very excited about this opportunity. We're currently in the submission phase, so until September 30th, you can submit designs. Everyone here, if you live in Shawnee County, you can submit a design. And not only that is, we released this to go public, and then about 3 days later, I had a gentleman reach out to me and said, he loved this. He saw what the impact it had on Wichita. So Wichita, they actually did something sort of similar. So they didn't redo their flag. They had a city flag that was actually really cool. No one knew about it. So they just did a marketing campaign on their Wichita flag, and now it's everywhere. Like people have tattoos of it. Every shop you go to in Wichita, you can buy t-shirts, you can buy coffee mugs. It's crazy. That's what our goal is to get to Topeka. But this businessman, he said that he saw how impactful that was and how much pride that brought Wichita that he wanted to put cash prize in to the winners to just incentivize and make sure that we have a lot of our citizens are getting involved with this. Not only that, he thought it was very important to have young people get involved too. He told a story about he has a son that was a senior, just graduated from high school here in Topeka, and he asked his son, so when you go to college, would there be any opportunity for you wanting to come back to Topeka? His son said, no, absolutely not. And that really kind of struck a chord with him because he never really thought about it before, but that kid, his son, if his son gets married, has grandkids, they're not going to be here. I think that's a case with a lot of us in the room, that our children, our grandchildren live in other cities and stuff, and we probably wish that they were closer, that they were here in our city, and that can change, but it starts with really that community pride aspect. So we're very excited about that. So he has a cash prize, so he has a $2,000. He's going to go to the winners. So we're looking at selecting between 2 and 5 submissions that we're going to have as we're going to call the winners. But one of the things we don't want is just have one person feel like a winner and everyone else feel like a loser. So we're just going to say that those are the ones that we're going to then combine. We'll have a professional artist put those 2 to 5 submissions, merge them into kind of one final design. So really any person that submits, it's going to have one of their aspects is going to be on the final design, because we have guide submissions. So we have color schemes, we have certain aspects, we have 5 different themes that you have to incorporate into your flag, and so we kind of limited it so we had very similar flags that everyone's submitting, and we have about, I think, 40 flags currently submitted, and there's some amazing flags, very creative, and there's still time. So if you want some money, if you want to help with the community pride aspect, please go and submit your city flags. And then that's really right now we're doing that. We're really pushing the health initiatives. So the county rankings came back, and Shawnee County is one of the least healthiest counties in Kansas. And so we said, we probably need to work on this as the young professional organization. We feel like we need to be leaders. And so we started a health initiative where we're talking not only about, everyone thinks of health, they think about it's eating and working out. But it's something I'm really proud of is we're taking a step further. That's part of health, but we're having conversations about mental health. We're having conversations about more than just what people think about, because it encompasses all of that. It's not just about how you eat, how much you work out, but if you're stressed, if you have anxiety, you can't be fully healthy and stuff. So we're having this conversation. We partnered with Vallejo, having conversations on mental health and as a community, just how can we be a healthy community. So there's just a lot of great things going on. So I'll wrap it up here so I can leave some time for questions. But really the future of Forge, it's very bright. I'm not going to stand here and say this is going to happen, this is going to happen, because my last day is tomorrow. So, but I am confident that the new leader, the man or woman who takes over, they're going to go on and have very successful. I know they're going to be a lot more successful than the current person here, so it's not going to be too hard to do that. So, but really, as an organization, it's just continuing to help grow our city. I know the work that I've done. Every day, I looked at what can I do to make our community a better place to live, work, and play, and I dedicated the last 2.5 years to doing that, and it's really been an honor, and it's something I'd love to do. If anyone that knows me, I'm a very passionate person. I'm not afraid. I have a lot of energy, you could say, and stuff. And I'm someone that has a unique laugh, and I love to exuberate that. And I love to laugh a lot, and just always have a smile on my face. And I'm just have a smile up here right now because I know our brightest days as a community are ahead of us, and it's because of everyone in this room. And one challenge I send everyone here is try to make a difference today, every day. Try to tell somebody about something happening in Topeka that you love. Telling somebody, one of your friends in another city, about something going on in Topeka, because it starts with us. We want to make this place a great place, make it better. It starts with us, and how can we make a difference? So with that, I would love to open it up to any questions you may have. Karen.
First, thank you, Gabe. You've done so much, and it's so exciting what Forge is doing. Just to piggyback on your closing comments, if people want to see the activities that are going on with Forge, or if they want to find out more about the flag contest, can you give us some email or website addresses so people can connect?
So we have our calendar and everything's on topekaforge.org. Also follow us on Facebook. We have all of our events. We're very excited. It just happened very recently is Topeka 365, which is like the community-wide event. So if any of you don't know what Topeka 365 is, it's every event going on really in the Topeka area, all on one page. And the website is topeka365.com. Forge, we actually have our own tab. So if you go on there, you can click just Forge events, and you can see things, just what Forge is doing. So I'm kind of proud that shows how many events and how many things going on that they dedicated a little tab just for Forge on that. So really follow us on Facebook, and then also topekaforge.org is our website. So.
And then for the flag?
The flag is also going to be topekaforge.org. We have a Topeka flag page. You can also, we're pushing stuff out. We also have a Facebook page, Topeka City Flag and stuff. And so submissions, or you can also mail them in to the Greater Topeka Partnership. We're accepting mail-in ballots and also email. So you can email, I guess it would be info@topekaforge.org since my email, or myself if you want to email tomorrow.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Yana.
Could you talk more about the business bill, because it's been very impactful, I think. I think it's just starting out, and some of the things that you guys do the.
Yeah, the business development pillar.
Right.
Yeah, so Connor England, he's our chair. He's on the leadership team. He's a local entrepreneur, and really that is kind of aspect. Is it how can we? It's really one of the focuses is on entrepreneurship, and so how can we bring entrepreneurs together to have conversations and really just have those conversations on what do you need help with, right? Because every entrepreneur, they have the similar struggles, right? They're having similar issues. So once a month, they just meet to network and just talk about their issues that they're having. Another aspect of it is just in our community, how can we grow our business community? What are we looking at? There's a lot of very exciting things happening with Momentum 2022. One of them is the animal health care corridor. There's some very exciting, innovative stuff. We just hired a new senior VP of innovation and entrepreneurship, and Katrine Holthouse, and she has a very long, bright ideas. So that's kind of gotten off on the tangent there, but really for Forge business development, it's really we come together and we just kind of have those conversations and network on the business community and what can we do as businesses to continue to grow. One of the things is ERG, so employee resource groups. That's something that some of our larger employees are starting to create. What that is internally you have different groups, like for example, Westar, they have a veterans one. So if you're a veteran, you can have a special group where you get together. They have one for young professionals. So they have Power Gym just for young professionals within Westar. That's something that is really nationwide. It's a trend that is it's helping with retention and stuff. So we're having those conversations, and it's really about what can we do to attract businesses more to Topeka that and also businesses currently here. How can we make them more young professional friendly, make them places where young people want to work at, because retention is the key really in any business. They want to retain their employees, especially their top employees. Yes?
Is Forge exclusively business, or do you also look at medical professional? Because you've got a couple of big hospitals with lots of young employees, as my daughter being a nurse is what I'm thinking of.
Yes, that's it. So traditionally, we've been really known for the business community, but we're really trying to branch out. We actually, one of our pillars is diversity and inclusion. So it's very important. People want a very diverse place, a very inclusive place. And we're trying to get more, like you said, the medical field, but even blue collar workers. We're trying to get them, and we're having events just for them, and also events at different times. Because in the past, most of our events have been right after work at 5:30. Well, that doesn't work if you're working second, third shift, right? And so we're trying to do different times, have some morning events, and we really are actively reaching out. For example, Stormont Bell, their foundation president, actually emails me every time a new doctor that comes to Topeka, and so I sit down with them and have coffee and just kind of tell them about all things happening in Topeka, and also kind of give a pitch to live here, because something that's been happening in the past is the doctor's been living in Lawrence or Kansas City. They're not even living here. So we're actually having a collaborative effort as the Great Topeka Partnership, along with the hospitals, to help meet them and just help them show all the great things happening in Topeka. So we're not where probably I want to be right now, but we're working on it, we're improving it, and it's going to continue with that collaboration. Vince.
Is there an age limit to your organization?
There is not. There is not. So I like to say our target audience is 18 to 40. That's who we're going to focus on. But we are open. We're inclusive. So anyone young at heart, which looking around the room, everyone here is under 40, so we don't have to worry about that. Anita.
Gabe, you've done a fabulous job, and we're so proud of you. But I have a real serious question.
Okay.
Can you recommend where you find the best gourmet pie in town?
Bradley's Cafe. That's the best place. Yes. Looks like any more questions? Well, thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Thank you for coming out. We ask our speakers to sign the book plate in a book that we then donate to Ross Elementary School. Today the book is Can I be your dog? We would love for you to sign that bookplate, and in your honor, we'll donate that to Ross Elementary. We also have a 4-way test coin. That's an opportunity for you to hold on to that. You embody and represent that, and we're proud of you. And we'd encourage you to hold on to that to remember the 4-way test. And at the point that you meet somebody else who you think represents that, to pass it on as well.
Thank you.
With that said, Hal and Jerry, thank you again for hosting us this week. We really appreciate it. Please grab a flyer if you haven't already. There's a lot of great information about different things that the club's doing and different opportunities to plug in instead of slides today, so that's your best way to grab some information. Next week, September 20th, we'll be at the Capitol Plaza Emerald Room. The program is Clark Coco from the Washburn Institute of Technology. With that said, let's rise and end with the 4.5-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And will it be fun? Thank you all. Have a great weekend.